Hi there, welcome to Q&A number 6. I'm Mona Lisa Harding, and on this channel we share kind of things that we did with our 10 kids who started college, all of them by the age of 12. Some of them were 10 and a half when they were dual enrolled in actual college classes at brick and mortar schools. And today I want to start with our first question. A nice person, I can't pronounce their name, they asked about high school transcripts. They wanted to know what needs to be saved and tracked and about samples. And if you've read our book or seen our book, in there we have actual samples of transcripts that were used by our kids and submitted to actual brick and mortar schools, and they were accepted to those colleges. So we don't want you to, copy them because every child is different. Kids have different interests, but you can use them as a guideline. You can certainly look at your own transcripts, your spouse's transcripts, your friend's transcripts, and you can see that they're all very different. Some kids are taking advanced placement classes, and other kids are doing things like we did in the 80s, consumer math. So we start with easy things like pre-algebra and count that as a high school subject. And as an example, if your 8-year-old is reading the Diary of Anne Frank, you can go ahead and count that as adding that to their freshman English curriculum. So you can look up reading lists on the internet and find out, 10th grade reading lists, 11th grade reading lists, and start to give them credit for things that they're reading and accumulate enough where you would consider it an entire English course. Have them write papers, do research papers, show them how to cite their references, and teach them the difference between APA and MLA. One website we use is citationmachine.net to learn how to write references, and teach them that as soon as they know how to use a laptop. Show them how to format their essays using Microsoft Word, because that's what they're going to need to turn in their papers at their very first English 101 class, or even a prerequisite English class that they might take as college freshmen as early as the age of 10 and a half or 11, like our kids did. So anything that you consider high school level work, you can just start keeping track of that. You can use Microsoft Word or Excel. And the bottom line is that either a university is homeschool friendly or not. Some universities may look at your homemade homeschool transcript and say, this isn't worth the paper that is written on. And what I would do, and what I did when that happened, was took my business elsewhere to a more homeschool friendly university where they valued what we were doing, liked homeschoolers, and knew that homeschoolers work hard, and homeschool moms actually tend to over prepare their kids, and dads too. So, and like I said, there are samples in our book. Feel free to look at those. And then Paris Randall asked, how do I instill, or we instill, a kid's desire to read and love for education? And I think in our family, a big part of that was my husband and I got married at 18. We got pregnant with our first child at 19, and he immediately started working on this college degree. And what that looked like for us is he was active duty Army. We were stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas, and on his lunch break, he was taking college level courses, and it was important for him that he have a degree. He felt like that was going to be the way that he was going to provide for us the best, and we wanted to have a lot of kids. So it turned out that our kids saw their father working part-time on his degrees throughout their childhood. Into his 30s, he got his master's, and then into his 40s, he got an educational doctorate degree. So our kids saw that dad was working really hard, and this was a priority. And for myself, I was raising babies, and I got to work on an associate's degree and completed that in my 50s, and I'm 53 now. And it took me a long time to get an associate's, and needless to say, I'm done. I don't anticipate going any further than that, but my kids saw that I tried, and that example was an important thing to instill love for education and to be lifelong learners. And even now, even though my husband has an advanced degree, he still loves to learn, watches a lot of educational videos, and will bring the kids in and say, hey, you guys need to watch this. This is really cool. And he loves math and still continues to study that. And as far as a desire to love reading, we do that as soon as they're learning the letters and the sounds of the letters. We take them to the library and let them pick what books they want and try to get them up to a high school reading level so that we can start putting things on their transcript. But we found that if they have specific areas of interest and we let them study those areas, they become experts and they have a lot to even teach us. And I think our excitement when they come to us with, factoids about this or that, we may not have any idea. We really love when kids come to us and share facts about things that they're learning. And sometimes it's completely over my head because they're so into their areas of interest that I really don't know, can't compete, can't know everything that they're learning. But I think that my excitement and our excitement, my husband as well, over what they're learning, they feed on that and they know it's positive affirmation. And it's fun for them to become experts in their area because all of our kids are different. So even the other kids will have words of praise for the younger ones because they recognize, wow, they're really into that and they're really studying it. And so kids love that. So that's one of, and we kind of call that, we end up calling that the college carrot because our kids learn young, very young, that once they can read at a high school level, it's going to start to be put on their transcript. Once they finish their transcript, then they can go on and study what they want at the college level, and that's very exciting to them. So that's what keeps them motivated. And instead of using a stick, we use a college carrot, and we write about that in our book as well. So this person also asked, this is Paris Randall, wanted to know, do your kids have self-determination and drive to accelerate the progress in their education journey, or did you as parents have to enforce that? So that's kind of along the same lines where there's a fine line between kids wanting to do things on their own and what they can do with a lot of encouragement and praise. So I think naturally we're all kind of lazy, but if you have a cheerleader, someone who's motivating you, hey, let's get up, let's do this, let's study, asking them what they want to study, that is the motivation that we use to keep our kids going. And then once they get the picture of where they're headed and we connect the dots for them, again, like I said, showing them that by doing this, then you get to do high school and then you get to take a college class, then that becomes, then they become self-determined. That's when they realize, okay, I have a goal. Mom and dad had made it very clear what I need to do to go to the next level. And then they do own it at that point and become self-determined. And as far as the accelerated part, I think our kids don't know any different. They don't realize how fast they're going because they've seen their siblings do it. So they're kind of just doing the same method that the other ones have done, and they don't know any different. They don't know that in public school things take so much longer and you're not allowed to skip ahead, and you're certainly not allowed to graduate as early as our kids do because they know of it, but they're not living that. They're living something totally different. They're just basically doing what their older siblings did, and they know that it works, and they know that they are as smart as any of their other siblings. We don't ever say this is the smartest kid in the family. We know that they all have different gifts, and we do talk about their gifts, and I think that also strengthens their resolve to be little experts in their areas. So a lot of that is there's no enforcing per se. It's more encouraging and showing them the way to get there, and again connecting the dots for them so they could see clear goals. Another example of that is we're going to study the SAT now, and once you get this score, then you can dual enroll. So then they're motivated to study the ACT. That's just one example. So please keep your questions and comments coming. We love to hear them, and you can always reach out to us at collegeby12@gmail.com. Check out our book on Amazon. The link should be below, and we'd love to hear from you. God bless you.